You know, I didn't want to wear makeup today. I just wanted to come on this video and be like, hey guys, what's going on? It's your huggable hipster here. Let's get into this today. But no, some of you guys just have to be incredibly weird and say, oh, what happened to your dark circles and your lines under your eyes? Listen, Dan, okay? I got a skin condition. I'm also perpetually exhausted. What's going on, you guys? It's your huggable hipster here, and welcome back to Soulsborne Academy. That was just chaos in this episode so far. So I didn't know exactly what I really wanted to do for today's episode, but then it hit me. Why don't I ask you guys questions of what you guys want to know about Soulsborne? I got a good amount. I think I got like 8 questions, and we're gonna go into them, and we're going to see what you guys want to know about Soulsborne to make your experience a little bit better. So besides learning patience, I think the understanding the attribute system, weapon scaling system took the longest to fully understand in Bloodborne and Dark Souls, respectively. Every time I thought I understood it, there was something more. The thing about patience. Patience is a very hard thing to learn within Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro. I don't know about Demon Souls, haven't played it. I might do a walkthrough of that game actually now that I have the PS5. Let me know what you guys think. That's besides the point though. But with patience, you're going to have to really force yourself not to take those extra hits. And what I mean by that, and I might make this an entirely separate topic video, but don't get cocky at all. Please, just don't. Okay, you're going to die. Don't take that third hit, because one thing I've noticed, especially with Orphan of Cause, is that when you go in for that second, even third hit, that you're really pushing it. There's a lot of times that you can go in for that third hit, sure, but it's with really much easier bosses, like the Capra Demon. The Capra Demon I got in one go. That was an extraordinarily easy boss, and you can literally just go at that dude so much. He has a very low hit rate, if you guys know what I mean. Like when he goes in for like hits, you can deflect him pretty easily. The same thing goes for the the Asylum Demon. The Asylum Demon is one of the easiest bosses in Dark Souls. Now, for the most part, keep this in mind. A lot of the easier bosses are going to be side bosses that are not required during the actual main story of the game. Learning patience with bosses and fighting those extra easier bosses will get you to learn different patterns and movements a lot quicker. So whenever you go to tackle the actual bosses in the main story, you'll be better prepared. And do that circle thing that I recommended you guys. I mentioned it in a couple of videos previous of where just stay back and watch some of their move sets. Do like a bait and tackle kind of thing. Bait them into an attack and then move back to see how their attack looks from a far vantage point. So next up we have Emil Weston. He says, getting angry and leaving was my main problem when I started playing these games. Oh gosh, I could go into a whole rage video on these games. Like for me personally, I have not raged once at any From Software game that I ever did. I mean, like I might get exasperated and tired and all that kind of thing, but I never like... Why would I break my controller? And I know that some of you guys do this. Some of you have told me that you have broken controllers. Are you okay? Next thing you know, you're going to be summoning a demon from a bathroom stall, and I want you to be okay. But getting angry and leaving is a problem for a lot of people. A lot of people get ragey with these kinds of games. And one thing I would highly, highly, highly recommend is do this game, do any kind of game, any Souls game, whenever you know that you are really like at peace of mind. Like, okay, you played the games that you want to play, you did the things that you want to do for the day. Make sure that you are in just like a calm state of mind before you get into any of these games. Because I can assure you, and this is just honest, it's not me trying to be bitchy or anything, if you are going to be angry about this kind of game for the entire time when it's supposed to be a fun experience, then maybe it's just not the type of game for you. And the thing is it's okay. Like, not every game has to be for every person. Getting angry at a game defeats the purpose of what the game is trying to deliver. Because honestly, a lot of people, including myself, find Souls games fun. So whenever people get angry at them, I never understood it. Because you're supposed to be having fun, but instead people are breaking controllers and raging and screaming over not getting the certain bosses. It baffles me. So the next one comes from Caitlin. Hi Caitlin, how are you? How to think of creative solutions for bosses? Cheeses. I know someone's gonna say it. Someone's gonna say it. Cheeses are the part of the boss. That's why it's a cheese. It's not the right way to fight it. The boss. If it's in the game, you can utilize it. If a cheat system is in the game, if you have a summon, if anything that is in the game world of any Soulsborne game, you can utilize it and you can use it to defeat a boss. So yes, cheeses are a great way to find creative solutions to beat different bosses. There's probably others that I am not thinking of off the top of my head that other streamers and content creators have done. Like there's one boss that I fought on the way, it was almost towards the end of the game in Elden Ring, and it was, oh gosh, it was that damn guy on a horse. And I found a really clever way to cheese him after one of my friends told me, poison him from behind. And I was like, is that some weird porno that you're talking about right now? Because I don't want any part of it. Basically what you do is that it's a type of like, if you are a mage, it'll make this 10 times easier, but you can use it pretty much if you're like in any denomination or you pick any style of play. You have this basically like this spell that you can use and just throw poison darts. Significantly reduces the health over time. I had to do it twice, as you guys know, because I did the playthrough on YouTube because I accidentally booped the butt of the horse. But yeah, that's one way that I can think of that's a creative solution to a boss. I'm sure that there are others, but yeah, cheeses are really, really great ways to handle bosses in a short amount of time. All right, so next one. Hey, Loco Mav asks how to deal with bosses in tight areas where objects impact movement and dodging. I enjoy Bloodborne until I got the first main boss. I think it was tombs and stuff getting in the way. Okay, Father Gascoigne. So just take the hit and like, you know, your character, let them die that time. If you get into a tight spot, there's really nothing you can do, and I don't know if other Bloodborne or Dark Souls players would agree with me on this. Just take the hit and die. Like, just send your character to the great beyond, because the thing is that when you're in a tough spot and the monster, enemy, boss, what have you, is like all up in your business and you are trying to get out of that spot, it makes it so much worse if you try to move or try to like navigate out of that situation without taking a lot of damage. So what I would highly recommend, if you're in that spot, let your character die. That's it, and try again. But like, you could do some slashes and everything like that, but it's not going to be make much of a difference if you're in a really tight spot, especially like in between those tombs or like right next to a tree. Like, oh my god, the amount of times that I got stuck on a freaking tree in Father Gascoigne boss battle, especially on New Game Plus. Okay, the next one comes from Devin Barr, and they ask, sitting the F down and watching them move for a bit when I'm being too greedy. Again, don't be so greedy. You gotta control yourself. You gotta understand that you want to get this boss, right? If you take that extra hit, your character is going to die. It's going to bite the dust, and you're gonna have to do it all over again. So it's hard. I know it's so difficult because you just want to get it done and you want to say, yeah, I beat the boss, but no, you just calm. You just gotta calm down. You gotta teach yourself a little bit of self-control and calm down. Next one is from user take. I love that username. And they asked, I think it's more to do with the feeling of progression. Like I'm actually getting somewhere with the time I'm putting in. So I think for me, something like a checklist would help. Okay, so this person was talking about feeling how they've how a feeling of progression within the game. And they pretty much answer their own question within this, but I want to cover this more because this is a good thing to cover. So making a checklist for yourself, especially when you are doing very time-consuming games like Souls games, is very important to be cognizant of where you are in the game, because I rest assured, if you play, let's say today, a little bit of Bloodborne or Dark Souls, what have you, and you don't pick it up for another month, you will forget where you are. So make yourself like a little gamer's notebook or gamer's checklist or something like that, and go about and like list, okay, what are the things that I need to do in order to get platinum, or in order to finish an area. Like within the beginning of the DLC, let's say for example, you have to get through the first part of the DLC, make that as part of your checklist. That way it's something attainable and something you can focus on. Checklists, journaling, it's all extraordinarily helpful. These games are very, very rewarding, and when you put the time in and when you I'm not saying that you guys don't make the effort, having that extra thing, that way when you check it off that list, validation washes over and you just feel good about yourself, and then you move on to the next part, and then you add more to that checklist of what you need to do, what you need to accomplish. So I hope that answers the question or anything like that. If you guys want me to go more in depth into that, I can. And last one, this one is from the Big Bridge, and he wants to know about hesitating to start a Soulsborne game due to everyone telling you it's hard. Okay, so this question I left last for a reason. So let me explain. Let me crack the knuckles. Okay, so don't mind that. The heater just went on. I don't mean to go all Shia LaBeouf on you, but seriously, just freaking do it. Just do it. Just do it. The thing is with Soulsborne games, don't let anybody tell you what to do whenever it comes to them, because I had so many people telling me actually quite the opposite. You will so enjoy them, they are amazing games, they're wonderful, you should totally go into them. It was very much the opposite experience for me, but I noticed, and you're not the first person that I'm seeing have this issue of so many people telling them that the games are hard, that you're not gonna like them, that they're boring, they don't have a story, all this kind of nonsense. Whenever I see these kinds of tweets, I encourage people. I verbally and like, not physically, but you know, with all my being, want to encourage people, start the games, okay? I would heavily recommend starting with Dark Souls Remastered, and then going to Bloodborne, and then going over to Sekiro. Why? Because you get a taste of a little bit of everything. And the fact of the matter is that when you play Dark Souls, you get to see how it started. When you play Bloodborne, you get to play the best title of From Software. And when you play Sekiro, you get to have a heart attack every 5 freaking minutes. And the fact of the matter is that these games are difficult, but they're fair. And that's the whole thing that people miss, because they just want to focus on the fact that they're hard. They are not difficult. If you practice them and you understand what you're up against, and you go and you do the moves, like I said, with the tackle, when you know, with the bait and tackle kind of thing, and the bait and watch kind of thing of where you're like seeing what the movements are, all that kind of thing, you're gonna find it to be no problems. But yeah, don't let anybody else convince you not to play a game just because it's difficult. Difficult games are absolutely incredible. Soulsborne, absolutely great. I would love to see you try a Soulsborne game. Let me know how it goes. If you don't continue with it, that's fine. You gave it a shot though, and that's what matters. You guys, that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below. I make videos every day here on YouTube. But with that being said, stay casually nerdy, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.